Hey, all right, let's see if we are up and running this morning. Checking my signal here real quick to see if it's coming through. Seems like we have a little bit of a time delay here. Are we active? There we are. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. There we are. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, cool. Let's put that down on low. I'm going to grab this here so I can post on the X Twitter platform. I'm at Phil Kearney if you're on the X Twitter platform as well. And then I'm just gonna do this real quick here. Blip, blip, blop, blip, blop, blop, blip. Copy, paste, copy, paste, and copy, paste. Okay, cool. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I have been focusing my attention on building stuff for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for the past 7 years. I've been running Eberron as my home brew campaign of choice since like around 2006. So happy 20th anniversary, Eberron. And so we're creating the first adventure that I've made for 5th edition and the first adventure that I've made for Eberron, which is here called Crystals of Mabar for 7th and 8th level characters. We are currently building some little maps, some little optional encounter maps to help make this stuff stand out and give you some additional options to increase the amount of content that you have during the adventure. If you do absolutely everything that's in this, that's going to be in this book that's published on DMsGuild, there'll be probably about 60 hours worth of content for you to kick through. But you could also run it as like a 4-hour one-shot if you just skip to the end and have your team plane shift or teleport into the final dungeon to basically do a scavenger hunt for MacGuffins or as a kill team to eliminate threats. However you want to play it. There's a lot of stuff there. So I'm going to just, I have about an hour this morning to basically just get some work done here. And I'll be back on Monday morning as well to continue this project. But I just want to get in here like this because we are building the stone columns. This is a little monument in the Carnwood. There's an abandoned lab, necromancy lab, that has been forgotten about over the past couple hundred years. But now that the Emerald Claw is no longer a recognized church in Karnath, all of the necromancers that had gained political and military prestige and power during the last war are now shunned. So that's creating a lot of classist strife amongst these cultists that had it pretty good. All they had to do was basically surrender their soul to the dark arts, and they gained social stature and military accolades. But now that that gravy train is over, they're pretty in the wind. So one such cultist, his name is Solzu. He was a military a military strategist and had climbed the ranks in Ader Academy, so he became aware of... I need to mute this down a little bit more. It's a little bit too loud. So he knows a lot of the secrets, and like literally where the bodies are buried throughout Karnath. And so when the Claw was rejected in society, he decided that he needed to build his own social clout, so he's tapping into some of these forbidden arts that he knows about. There's an artifact called the Eye of Mabar. It's made out of planar energies from the plane of Mabar that can be used to perform a ritual that creates an artificial manifest zone to the plane of undeath that, if sustained long enough, will terraform the environment around it, that you could then use all the Mabaran flora and environment to create new alchemical substances that can be sold. And the very soil of Mabar can be used as an arcane focus for creating like magic circles or performing necromancy themed rituals. So it's actually a really, like, if you could stabilize the thing, it would be a great source of magical power that was definitely worth exploring during the last war as a sort of way to intensify their military presence through undeath. The only problem was when you manifest this, when you cause this manifest zone any undead that are within it have free sentience. So you can't control undead that are created in the manifest zone. You can harvest it for alchemical properties and spell components and stuff. But if anything's dead in there, it rises up and it doesn't care who you are, it will kill you. The intelligent, I mean, they all come out intelligent, so you could attempt to bargain and reason with them, but you don't want to have to bargain with each and every troop that you create. You need mindless minions for the ethics of even doing it in the first place, which was a real selling point for Karnath and getting this undead kick happening. It's like, look, these things don't have personalities. They aren't really people. We're just animating the corpses like constructs to continue fighting the battle until we win. And that was a really good selling point to the public. They got on board with it, but they are not okay with sustaining this activity. Hence the Emerald Claw being shunned and no longer the national religion. So the team finds out that the team might know about the manifest zone going into the event. It depends on what plot hook you use. There's 6 different plots that and hosts like patron sponsors that will fund and provide resources for your characters to perform this mission. And depending on who your plot hook is, depends on what they know and, more importantly, what they share with you. So the default plot is that you're hired by a local sheriff that's overwhelmed with the amount of requests for support from all of these refugee farming communities that have sprouted up. It's about maybe like 3 or 4 years after the last war had ended, and now there's a lot of off-the-books sort of communities that are making that are farming, which is great because they desperately need more food if they're going to grow their population back up from the last war's losses. So they're putting a complete blind eye to anybody that's willing to farm their land and bring produce and protein to the marketplace to help build healthy Karnath citizens. But so a lot of these off the book villages don't have much legal support. No one's really keeping track of who these people are. They could be Syrian refugees. They could just be displaced soldiers. They could be people hiding from like Breland or Aundair or Zalargo, any number of these nations. This could be a place for war criminals to hide and start over again, kind of like Nazis in Argentina. I think I just demonetized myself, but that's okay. Yeah, so these are the tops that you can stand on these monument stones. You can see down here. I should actually probably swap these positions. So I'm going to take that top side and then interior and then profile. I want to swap these up. Let's get the puddles, the flora and fauna back on the board. There, like that. That's a good position. Now we can push this down. To here. Sorry, I got my whistle going. I love the music of this. It's so fun. Let's go with line. I love the music of this. And yeah, I can definitely hear myself. Let's turn that down a bit more. I don't want to mute it because then it'll assume that there's a bot and it'll start demonetizing it. And it's not like I'm getting paid for it. Oh, hey, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Hey, we picked up a new subscriber. Thanks a lot. Everyone counts, and I appreciate anyone that is interested in subscribing just to kick around and see what we got going on here. So thanks for being involved. I'm going to fish open my cemetery map. We made this back towards in October 2022. This has been a long ongoing project. I actually had taken a break from it to build out the Spelljammer book that's now published on DMsGuild. And now that that's out of the way, I am free and clear to focus energy on completing this project. Let's do that. Color. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Mer Beep, 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 beep. Do it like that. Oh, apparently I'm working on the profile, not the puddles. So that's cool. Let's just drop down here. There, perfect. Like that. Good. And do. I get to play D&D tonight. I am a player in a Curse of Strahd campaign. I've never ran Curse of Strahd. I've never played Curse of Strahd before. I've never been interested in it before, but some of my old school 3rd edition friends are still playing 5e offline, like too far away for me to be able to participate. But I got invited to the game. We are currently 4th level right now. It has been an absolute blast to play. I am playing a divine sorcerer of Selune. It is absolute joy. Color. I'm playing it as a Selesnya, using color mana, a Selesnya character. So I've got white and green mana as my for my spell casting, and virtually everything that I want to cast is in white and green. It's just naturally devoted to those two colors, so it's real easy for me to build out the kind of spells. Like if it was a color I didn't want, I'd have to learn it once to learn it. Like if I wanted Fireball, for instance, that's not a white or a green spell. It's red. So if I wanted to learn that spell, I'd have to learn it twice. Once just to know it, and since I don't have any red mana, I'd learn it again so I can cast it with either white or green mana. And I would choose white in this instance. But I've got Guiding Bolt. I learned Knock twice. That was, I believe, a blue spell. And so I was willing to learn Knock twice. I've used Knock more often than I thought I would. For a second level spell, it's actually a really great distraction because it makes this like huge thunderclap. So I will just use it on objects just to create a distraction for the rest of my team to get an advantage over whoever it is that we're fighting. And Web is naturally a green spell. Bless is a white spell. Healing is both white and green. So I always have my entire mana pool can go towards healing if necessary. You can swap the colors that you have in your mana pool on a short rest, and on a long rest or a short rest. And so as a sorcerer, I have the spells that I need picked out, and I am using this as a playtest option for the spell point sorcerer that I've been developing. And so far it's going really well. I'm happy with it. One of the big differences is that the spell points and the sorcery points get blended into the same mana pool. The spells that you learn, you add in the number of meta magic that you would have to the number of spells that you would know. And so you can freely pick any number of meta magic versus spells. So you control how much meta magic you have versus how many actual spells you know. And the other big change that we have is at the pace of a half caster, you can stack meta magics. So like you can have at first level you can only have, or second level when you get meta magic, you can only have a 1 mana meta magic ability. But by 5th level you can have 2 mana spent on meta magics at the same time to affect the same casting. All the way up to 17th level, it can be up to 5 mana affecting the same spell. And we have a list of about 20 different meta magic options that range anywhere from 1 to 4 points in cost. So like maximize spell, I think, is a 3 mana cost. So that when you cast, like, say, Fireball, I could spend an extra 3 points and deal maximum damage automatically. There's like a blinding spell that anyone that's targeted or caught inside of the AoE is blinded until they save their way out of it. So there's a lot of neat little modifiers that you can sort of add on. It's certainly not a unique premise, but the mixing it with the color mana and making it a universal option for the spell point system that I have. The spell point system that I use is really unique in that it's only 1 mana per level of spell, and a full caster gets 80 points, a sorcerer gets 100. So, but it's long story short, it's been a thrill, just an absolute thrill, running the color mana system in the game that I get to play in. It's just I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. What is that? Get out of here. My board has been acting weird lately. So I have that. Let's go back to my cemetery. Do it like that. So once our hour is over here, I'm going to log out, and then I'll just be diving back into the document. We're currently resolving the final battle. We're basically cleaning up the language and simplifying the final battle and then the conclusion. Once we do that, pretty much all the dungeons are taken care of. So I can theoretically start doing page layouts for this thing. But we also need to finish the conclusion. We need to make sure the monster stat blocks are correct. And that. Bop. Straight up. So I'm starting to get excited about figuring out the layouts for this. I'm really happy that we did the Light of Zarax's conversion guide first, because that really helped me get a better understanding of how I want to layer and sequence information inside of an adventure in general. And I love the editing that Stuart Braz has provided for this adventure. So we're about at the point where we can start booking this thing out. I'm hoping to be done in September or October. So once this is off my plate and it's published, I get to go back to the color mana system and completely just redesign that, rebuild it using the 2024 technology, rebrand it, redo the artwork, just completely overhaul the entire system, which will probably legit take me a year to do. But it's my own personal project. There's no one dependent on it. So I just get to take my time with it, and I'll stream all the reproduction of it, and we'll be looking at all the character classes in the player's handbook and the subclasses to see how they work, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But we'll get to integrate Ravnica, Strixhaven, and Theros into the document, and then we'll be able to set up a format so that in the future, if there's other settings that get dropped, we'll be able to have a common language to work with that, and I can start opening up my Patreon for this type of that sort of content as well, which I'm excited about. So I want to. If I'm going to move away from the DMs Guild, I need to start producing stuff for myself, whether it's 5e or something else. It doesn't really matter. But if I'm willing to let go of the DMs Guild, then I can start potentially really ramping up my Patreon. I've seen a lot of people put in years of work and build a decent audience on Patreon, and I'm obviously I've been doing streaming like this pretty much daily for, like, I think I'm getting into my third year now. So I obviously have the stamina and chops to, oops, need to undo all that. Get down here into this. There. So I apparently have the stamina to be able to continue to perform. Now I just need to really thinking about Patreon. So we start with 60 pixels around the edge here like this. So every time I move 1 degree away from the wall, I increase the font size by, or the brush size by 1. In this case, it's stepping up in tens. Here, and this is tens here. This is 80 here. No, this is 80 here. This is 90. So this is also 90, which means this is 100. Off screen like that. This is how we indicate like bedrock or interior rock space. And then 80. That's going off stage, so that one's done. Really, really, really close to being done with the text. Bam. $70. 90. Still recovering. Sorry. God, I'm looking forward to fleshing this thing out. I'm legitimately getting excited. If I don't have the excitement, I can't function properly. And I am catching the complete bug, where my muse is recognizing that we're starting to enter the home stretch, and she is starting to really turn on the motivators. God bless you, Muse. Thanks for being a co-pilot in my life. I really, really appreciate your divine guidance. Excuse me. There and just fixing a mess here real quick, don't mind me. Okay, there's something wonky going on here. Oh. Huh, this all feels like scrap here. Junket! There we go. Very good. Merge down. Watched the new, I don't know what it's called, but watched the new Mission Impossible last night. Mission Impossible, to me, is most famous for its car scene, for its car chases. And the newest movie has a fantastic car chase scene. It's not as good as Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation has the best car chase scene of all time because it's right after Tom Cruise's character dies and then gets revived, and his mojo is completely fucked up for the entire scene. For like a 20-minute scene, his mojo is just off. And it's just hilarious. But this new one is pretty good. I won't spoil or anything for you if you're into that stuff, but I'm not necessarily happy with casting decisions made, but it is what it is. There's a lot of recurring characters from the previous movies. It's getting less about introducing new ideas and more into continuing to propagate whoever is already into the story. Let's do that. Good. Very good. Let's do this. Yeah. Excuse me. Still clearing the junk out of my throat from the bout of pneumonia that we had in the household last week. Pulled me off grid and out of scene for the entire week, basically. That looks pretty straight up. And yeah, I'll be on for another 15 minutes and then we'll bounce. That looks good. Numbers. Let's there's a difference in soil, and that is good. I have to reconcile these corners. do it like this. Good. Right inside the lines. All right, well, it's still looking good. And let's trim that a touch. Blech. That's okay. That's okay. Good. I just want all these things to be inside of the lines. I can't have them overlapping, otherwise they're going to get clipped. So it has to be excuse me, properly inside of the lines. It's a shame I found it after I started doing all this, but sooner than later. I think that should all be good now. So we can stitch that up. We can go back to our color. And we can fix all of this. Color correcting. Finish our circuit around the piece. Perfect. There we go. Chip chop chiree chiroo chirum. Oof, still on the outside. Excuse me. Yeah, that's all good. Not a glamorous activity, I acknowledge, but necessary nonetheless. Good. Good. Very good. There we go. Nice and clean. Now we'll clean up these edges here. Just sweep along the perimeter. Actually, I should probably blot that out. Get rid of these overlapping tags. Good. Good, 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 good. Looking good. Really sorry about the Haganagas. Another good reason for me not to be on for too long today. But we'll be back on Monday with a vengeance. Goodness. Doesn't hurt to be a perfectionist. There. Nice and clean. Clear these out. My alarm should be popping pretty much any time now, I think. Yeah, 30 seconds. It is the prophecy. All right, I'm going to finish up what we're at. We'll finish up this border, and then we'll be done for the day. Step away with grace, and we'll be back in it on Monday morning. I'm looking forward to this. Really legit getting excited. I need that. I need to be excited about the project for me to be able to generate the energies necessary to wish into existence the things that we're doing here. Good. Let's check down here. Looking pretty good. Over here, also looking pretty good. So what we've done effectively here now is we've I'm able to get the color so it's only specifically in this space here. So I can come along and hold on. By trimming that frame so tight, I can then go back into here and grab our puddle. So when I build this out, here, line. There, like this. So I can block that in, and it doesn't interfere with that. It will actually be seamless. Perfect. See, now I have these little puddle vignettes here, so we can build these out as little template pattern, little platforms. That could be, if we do another couple of them, we could just have a page full of flooded puddles that can just be dropped into any map manifest zone to add water. So we're gonna have like a flat terrain. We'll have forestry. We'll have swampishness. All this stuff is designed to be stackable on top of itself, so a DM can just layer in. By whatever shapes are convenient to just drop in to the map. something like that. But it is time for me to go. So we're building the little water vignettes, and then we have these patterns for the different flora, razor vines, crystal, soil, blood moss, plague moss, emerald caps, florets of Mabar, Vulpina Lotharia, and razor vine. So these are the 6 different types of flora, fauna, like the different type of environmental and hazard materials that can be ran across. So we can, once we have these built out, we can just pepper these little tokens across the environment to have pile. Like the Vulpina makes you sick if you walk through it, so it eats your action economy versus a saving throw. The razor vine causes damage when you walk through it. The other stuff doesn't so much, but those 2 alone are there. But it's just neat little environmental stuff that you can just kind of pepper in there as just like little terrain stuff. So, but that's it for now, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut out of here while I can. When we come back, we'll be back on Monday to continue all of this stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys then. I am out of here for now. Cheers.